I'm the number one thing in comedy, ladies and gentlemen. Give it up for me.
Red Band. Austin's plotting a comedy rebellion. Welcome to the Anti-Kill Tony show.
I had my first confrontation after a show.
I can't afford to lose. That sounds like an old Andrew Dice Clay punchline. And then she got ganged in. Oh! I'm going up with Dresden. So people are like, Bob Marley's about to make us laugh. And then I just start cussing and using the N-word. I was like, oh my God, Bob Marley. What did you mean to type?
Screets.
What'd you type?
Skeets.
Jeselnik says what we all think about Hinchcliffe. He is a troll, basking in the shadow of Joe Rogan.
Oh, what? Now, Red Band. Red Band.
Move it, do it.
It's time for UFC 314.
Hey, it's Hen Dog.
Black Zeus the Podcast Season 6, featuring Black Zeus and Dante, aka Black Zeus on YouTube, Patreon, and Instagram. Alright, I'm done.
Old one take Tony over here. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Black Zeus, the podcast. I am Black Zeus. This is the podcast. You are the beautiful people. And it is season 6, episode 13. I hope you guys are doing all right. I hope you had a good week. I hope your next week is even better. If you haven't already, hit that sub. If you're a comedy fan, this is the number one place for that shiitake. We are the only comedy page. That's right, I'm saying it. We are the only comedy page that runs as real as we do, bitch. No sugar-coated bullshit here. A comedy channel run by comedians for real comedy fans. That's you, mother lovers. Go check out the latest episode of Black Zeus, the show on the channel right now. Episode 6, featuring an interview, sit-down interview with the president, the owner, the founder of the only national comedy club chain in Canada, Yuck Yucks, Mr. Mark Breslin. So go check that out. It was a great interview. The episode also follows me along at a night performing at Yuck Yucks. And then we jump around the city of Toronto doing some other shows. Part 2 will drop next week. So if you haven't already, go check out part 1. A lot of new clips on the channel, new comedy clips, new conversation pieces, lots of diatribes. So thank you to the people that have been actually engaging and interacting with our videos. It obviously helps. We ain't begging. We just believe in our talent and we got some patience. But you know, it's nice to see the things clicking up here on the channel. And who better to thank than the people that are helping us click up? That's you sons of bitches. Thank you, beautiful people. Back to the show. We're going to get right into things this week because we got shit to do outside of the studio. So let's bring the dude in right now. The dude, the guy, the man dem, the number one producer in the game, Mr. Cuffs. Ladies and gentlemen, Dante's in the studio.
Boop, 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 boop. Close the doors.
Close the door. Yo, it's hot as shit.
It is hot.
You feel it, right? No more sweaters. The sweater season's over, dog.
Yeah.
Whoo! We're gonna have to figure out some sort of air conditioning.
Open the doors.
I say this. Open the doors. I say this every year. How you living?
Blessed and highly favored.
How's your week been?
Week's been great.
Comedy-wise, life-wise, all of it?
All of it. Just all around good week.
You feel like you've been progressing in the game of comedy?
Yep. I do.
Then let's get right on into it, ladies and gentlemen. This podcast is the companion piece to both of our comedy careers now, where week to week, myself and Dante come into the studio and recap what we've been up to in terms of shows, new jokes we've written, new experiences, road gigs, whatever, in terms of our direct comedy week. And again, Black Zeus, the show is where you can actually watch visually what's taking place. It is more like a TV show, whereas this is a podcast. You know what I'm saying? We're building out a channel here. So go check that shit out. But we will do our comedy recaps, starting with the guy Dante. What'd you do this week?
Milestone alert.
Milestone alert.
Beeloo. I had my first confrontation after a show.
I can't afford to lose. Yes. Unfortunately, I don't say yes like excited, but it's gonna happen at some point. When you say confrontation, let me ask some questions.
Yeah.
This is okay. You said after the show. After the comedy was done.
Yes.
Confrontation with an audience member or a comedian.
Audience member.
That's good. At least if it's going to be with anybody, better not a comedian. Before we even get there, did you have a good set?
I had a pretty decent set.
Did this confrontation have to do with your set?
Yeah.
Somebody didn't like your
A particular joke.
You're not even a controversial guy.
That's what I thought.
I guess to anybody you can strike a nerve.
Yes.
Do you want to say what joke? Or do you want, okay, you set it up. I'll let you take it from here.
This Sunday.
Last Sunday.
Yes. Last 1 week ago today. Garrett Nathan and the gang asked me to perform on their disability privileges show.
Okay.
So I got to do 5 minutes.
What disability you repping?
I'm allergic to peanuts.
All right. I thought you were going to say black.
No, that's not a disability.
That's what Jared says. I want to punch him every time. Because he doesn't like the R word.
Mm-hmm. That's
like the R word. But no, I'm just trying. I'm taking a stance against Jared and Nathan. Back to the story.
Back to my recap. But anyway, so I go up second after the host.
Yeah.
The host goes, "Oh, do you guys like dark jokes?" And then the audience is like, "Woo!" So then I'm like, "All right, noted." I go up and I do one of my darkest jokes, and it's the one about sharing a birthday with someone in particular.
What, you went right into the joke?
No. I went into my set.
Okay.
And then I'm like, because I had to do 7 minutes, I'm like, I gotta add some time, you know?
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh, I heard you guys like dark jokes. Well, here's one for you.
Now, had you already built a rapport with the audience?
Yeah, I was doing jokes and they were laughing.
And they were laughing.
Yeah.
They liked you.
Yeah.
You weren't bombing.
No.
All right. So you've built some leeway.
Yes.
Okay. Just making sure you're not going right into the friggin'.
No, I'm
like, did you set this up? Who's at fault here?
No, because since the Kenny thing where I didn't open up strong, I've been making it a priority to make sure I get my opening joke and my opening laughs.
Smart. Okay.
So I've been working on that, like getting a proper intro each time.
Yeah.
And then going into it, joke. And so anyways, I'm like midway to 3/4 of I'm like 60% through my set.
Yeah.
And I'm like, all right, let me hit him with the yamin, you know?
Yam. Yarami.
Yamin.
Dog walk their ass.
Oh, and just a note.
Yeah.
Because it's at Comedy Bar Danforth, one of the only wheelchair accessible clubs in the city.
Which is nuts.
Which is
Toronto's
crazy.
such a big
I
city.
know. Like the front row is just a lot of people in wheelchairs, right?
It's like a drive-in.
That's what I said. I like, it's like a drive-in movie theater. So anyways, I do the joke, right?
They're all doing burnouts and shit.
Dog, just listen.
Yeah.
So I do the joke. It doesn't go that well. Like a few people are like,
Do you want to give us any part of the joke or what did the joke have to do with?
I asked people like, oh, does anyone share a birthday with someone famous?
Okay.
You heard me do this one before?
Yeah, I know this joke.
Yeah. So I do that one. And then I'm like, oh, well, I share a birthday with and
You can say it.
and then I go, oh, you look up these famous people and you're like, oh, I share a birthday. I hope I have some of the same traits. Well, I share a birthday with Hitler. And then everyone goes, oh, you can't believe you said it. And then I go, but every day I have the struggle of trying not to be Hitler. But Israel makes it so hard. I don't think that's that bad of a joke, to be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think it's that bad of a joke, but I wouldn't say I don't want to say the punch is worth throwing it out. At least
Sometimes
not
it
yet.
bangs. Yeah.
At least not yet.
But I got to work on it.
That's
like,
what- yeah.
but I don't bring it out often because I know once I say it, people don't like me afterwards. So anyways, I do the joke and then I go into Transformers and I go into garbage bags. So I'm like, I saved those two, but because I just soiled the soil, like they didn't really want to laugh at the last two jokes that I had. So that they didn't really close as strong as they normally do.
Yeah.
Which is, I know that usually happens when I tell this joke. But they said they like dark humor. Anyways, so after the show,
They're all sensitive.
they're all sensitive. After the show,
Yeah.
Going around, thank you for coming out. Da, 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 da. Dude rolls up to me in a wheelchair. He goes, right, because it's an electric wheelchair. And he goes, "Are you Jewish?" I'm like, "No, I'm not Jewish." And he's like, "That joke you did was not funny. Don't do it again. If you're not Jewish, don't be making jokes about it. If I was sitting any close to the stage, I would have gotten out of my chair and I would have punched you." That's what he said to me.
Sounds like you're a miracle worker. This nigga's ready to walk.
So going back to the comedy recap,
Oh shit.
I was able to take that story
Yeah.
and then turn it into a joke that I was able to do
Did
by
you do 2 shows or?
just the one.
Okay.
But then I formed that whole story into a joke.
Yeah.
And you basically said it like the miracle worker, all that stuff. Like that's kind of where the joke goes anyways. But
That's so funny. Just in passing conversation. I'm sorry, I just spoiled the whole. Spoiler alert.
but I was able to formulate it to where now, even though the initial joke is bad, I'm able to turn it into a funny story. So now the joke comes off funny now. Does that make sense?
Yeah, but don't also take that for granted because there'll still be a time.
I know.
Someone will
But
be like, "That guy was right." You're
anyways,
gonna have Aaron Bilal just freaking.
yeah, go ahead. Try and chase me down.
Oh my god.
All I need is 2 steps and I'm safe.
Did you feel awkward or anything in the moment?
It was a little bit weird.
Yeah.
Because he shook my hand.
Nothing more passive aggressive than shaking your hand while cursing you out.
Well, he shook my hand and then he let go afterwards. But
Yeah.
then like I'm just there and his like friends were like just standing there waiting to like leave and stuff like that. So then I'm like looking at
He's like, "Don't leave yet. I got something I want to say."
yeah. So then
Black asshole.
I'm like looking at his friends and I'm like, is he serious? Is he not serious? And then they're like just as confused. I'm like, oh, this guy is actually mad. You know what I mean? And
Were
then
they in wheelchairs, his friends?
one of them had one leg, and then I think the other one was in a wheelchair.
That's a wild friend group, bro. that ain't the A team. That's the Z team, bro.
Z team.
Call it the Z team. Just wheeling.
But like I saw him like as I was leaving the venue, I saw him like talking to Jared and them, and he just mean dogging me from like the other side of the venue.
Yeah.
Dog.
Really?
Yeah.
Welcome to the gang, bro. You just got ganged in. What is
Jumped
it?
in.
Jumped in. Damn, I'm
Ganged in. Hey, yo.
I'm not a gang member at all, yo. You got ganged in. Oh my god, that sounds like a freaking. That sounds like an old Andrew Dice Clay punchline. And then she got ganged in. Oh. I've been ganged in. That might be the title for the episode. But
there's
they won't like that. The algorithm won't like that.
There's this rapper that I used to listen to named Ban Hunter Izzy.
Jesus.
And he has this one song called Gang in This Bitch. Gang in this bitch. Hey, gang in this bitch.
Thank you. Thank you. I guess I'll talk about. Oh, so I did Rec Room in London.
All I see is and stuff.
Yeah, we're good. That's all right then. We won't do that. So I did Rec Room in London with different nights.
Okay.
Recently, and one of the comics backed out. So it was like last minute fill-in, bro. I don't know what it is about these rooms. I guess like if you don't know, Rec Room is like a Dave and Buster's type deal. You know what I mean? Like an
Arcade.
adult arcade. Yeah, it's a mixture. There's kids there too.
Yeah.
Because there's a bunch of kid arcade games, but it's also like the bar section, restaurant area, and all that stuff. All these shows are always a little bit of work because you can hear the entire arcade clink, 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 clink. It was. I don't know how I want to go about this. I want to be nice. I was with the OG, Kevin Christopher.
Okay.
Did great. Kev's such a G, such a professional. I did great, and I don't even want to say the other comics didn't do great. It's just it was hard to watch. It was like the comic between me and Kev. You can't even say, like, he was telling decent jokes and he was sticking to his guns. And he was like he was solid as a rock. Like, he wasn't.
Do I know this comic?
He wasn't fettered by it. I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't think so. But the audience was giving nothing.
Ooh.
Nothing. And it's tough because they were 20-minute sets. So he's just
trucking along.
He literally just like it's like walking in mud with concrete shoes.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
He's slogging it.
Yeah, just you have the strength to get to the finish line, but you know that it's just gonna be work all the way too.
Yeah.
So I actually had to respect him, like, and it was weird because me and Kev were standing there and we're like, he's actually like, these aren't bad.
Yeah.
They're just giving nothing. You know, it's even hard for me to really gauge what the hell was going on. I think what it is too is there's no host. The show ran shotgun style.
Okay.
I don't think that's a wise choice for like a weekend show, like a weekend pro show. You know what I mean? It's 4 comics, have one of them do host.
Mm-hmm.
I think, but that's just me. But then when you saw how like the show flowed, like the first comic also, because there was no host, the first comic had to essentially split duties. He had to do a set plus try and get the crowd into the show.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like he was getting tepid like reactions, and then he would get a good reaction, and then they would just stop, and then it would like have to be a build up again.
Mm-hmm.
And then I essentially had to go up like it was cold.
Yeah.
And then I brought the next guy up, and then they just gave him nothing. But I actually, dude, I had a really good set. I had people messaging me like, I'm like, there's no way anything's gonna happen from this night. So I almost like those nights even more.
Okay.
Because there's way less pressure.
Yeah.
For me, I already know, like, I'm going to the show in my mind. I'm like, okay, I see Kev's on the show. I see some other good comics on the show. I'm like, we're all gonna have to like do
Bring
work,
it,
but it's
yeah.
gonna be good.
Yeah.
And then I get there, I'm like, oh, by the time I get, like, bro, it was so bad. I've never heard any comic actually say, I've never heard a comedian say this. And Kev is a professional, bro. Like, honestly, like, bang for your buck. To me, Kev is one of the funniest people in the Toronto comedy scene, like top 5.
We just saw him at Nubian.
I
smashed.
He's a destroyer.
Yeah.
He's a destroyer. And he's like, he's one of those guys that people don't really look at like that. You know what I mean? Even though I have never seen him not destroy effortlessly.
Yeah.
It's messed up. Almost to the point where like and we're good friends. So I'm always like, you just don't even like carry yourself. Like, it's perfect. He doesn't carry himself like that at all. And then he just walks up. It's like a beater car. You know what I mean? He doesn't look like a beater, but
He's
it's
a
like
sleeper build.
He's a sleeper build. That's exactly. He just looks like the stock build.
Yeah.
Like, oh, this is, you know, he's not a thug black guy. He's not a nerd black guy. He's like just he's a guy.
Just a guy.
Which is actually like kudos. You know what I mean? As a black guy, I'm going up with dreads and shit. So people are like, Bob Marley's about to make us laugh. One love. And then I just start cussing and using the N-word. Everyone's like, oh my God, Bob Marley.
What have they done?
Yeah. But so I go up and I have a great set. And so I'm like, okay, we're rolling. The next guy, I before he goes up, I dab him in the back. I'm like, they're in it.
Yeah. He said, you're welcome.
Yeah. And he went up there and he just worked for 20 minutes with nothing.
Oh, dang.
And I felt bad. And me and Kev were standing in the back just watching, like scratching our heads because we're like, he's doing what he's supposed to do. What's going on? And then Kev dropped this line. He's like, he's ruined wanting to perform for me. I don't even want to go up anymore. I've never heard a comic say that. I don't even want to go up anymore. Like, I'm not even excited to go up. Like, you know what I mean? It was just, I started laughing so hard because I'm like, I was just taking it back. I'm like, damn, bro. My boy is dejected right now.
He said, don't let him bully you, son.
Don't let him bully you, son. Like, it was crazy to watch.
You've got to pull it out the fire.
Because you would expect that, like, bro, it wasn't even like a nothing. Like nothing.
Wow.
Just literally just nothing. And it was just, and I think it shook him or something because because Kev's like, he's telling good jokes.
Yeah.
Like he's telling good jokes. He's like, I don't even want to go up there anymore. And then Kev like took about 5 minutes. It's not like, but he was good from like, he got some laughs right off the hop, but you could tell the crowd, like some people walked from the previous, some people left the show. So it was like, oof. So Kev's just, oof. Yeah, Kev's going up there with that energy. And yeah, slowly, like 5 minutes in, and you know how it started? He won the ladies over. And the ladies got their guys into it. And then all of a sudden, the energy in the room.
Divided and conquered.
Divide and conquer. But that's bro, like if you want a little secret, even to building an audience, if you can somehow find a way to get women to get on board with what you're putting out earlier than later, you're golden.
Yeah.
Because they bring more people than dudes. Dudes just bring dudes. Women bring everybody. You know what I mean? They'll bring other women and dudes, but dudes just bring dudes. So if you actually want like to diversify your bones, nigga, yeah, try and have some broader appeal. But the shows overall went great. I'm happy Kev went up there to close it so that the people left with laughter. But like, I don't even know, like, you just realize even though comedy is like the most popular it's ever been and it's at its peak or whatever, it does really show that it's just a mainstream effect. It's like people know that comedy is a thing now.
Yeah.
So they just show up, but they don't know what comedy is.
Yeah.
They just know comedy is a thing. And then they just show up and it's like, yo, nobody's been to a comedy. Like I ask all the time, who here's been to a show? Like, and just a lot of these audiences is just like fresh new faces that probably just watch some Netflix or YouTube or whatever. Look at that. I brought Kleenex into the studio so I don't have to leave. But that's going to be it for Comedy Recap. We're going to keep on moving with this episode. We got I'm excited to talk about this stuff. We've had a lot of really good things to talk about the last few weeks. Again, the comedy is at the biggest it's ever been. So there's a lot of things that are just, what?
No, it's the typo.
No, I don't know what you typed. What did you mean to type?
Screets.
And what'd you type?
Skeets.
Type that in. Streets to Skeets. That might be the title episode right there. Nah, the algorithm won't like that at all. They won't like that. There was a time when white people didn't know what skeet meant, but those days are done. It was actually Chappelle's show that introduced it into the skeet. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, moving on to the next segment here. Something me and Dante have been cooking up week to week in these comedy streets. Dante and myself head into the stand-up comedy boards on Reddit or any part of comedy on the internet. We find what the people are talking about and give our 2 cents. And this week is no different. Start with the actual, this week's no different. So we're perusing the stand-up board on Reddit and see an interesting headline. This was posted by what?
I'm surprised you don't get this one.
Jar Jar Binks? But it's with the G's, so that messed me up so. I had to like really.
The dyslexia.
Is it Gar Binks
or Jar Jar? The dyslexia in me is just like, oh, it's Jar Jar Binks.
The G's and the J's don't do anything to you, eh? That's
know what really messes me up?
What?
F's and 5s.
Nuts, really?
Yeah.
So you potentially will say 5 when you mean to say an F?
Yeah, and when I want to write an F, I'll put a 5.
Wow. God damn, bro. Peanuts and letters, eh? That's
peanuts. I'm not allergic to lettuce.
Letters.
Oh, yeah.
Lettuce. Peanuts and lettuce. Anyways, yeah, in these comedy screens, we're starting with a really interesting take. This is probably
the #1 show in the comedy universe. I mean, there's nothing bigger in the world of comedy. You're welcome. I've single-handedly changed the landscape of comedy by making it more accessible to people with autism and mental retardation. I'm the #1 thing in comedy, ladies and gentlemen. Give it up for me. Give it up for me.
Red band. Veteran Austin comics are starting an anti-Kill Tony show. This should be interesting. So this is an article that was posted on the Reddit board. So we will read the article. I guess I didn't realize there was no commentary on that. We'll read the article here, which is from the Bearded Wire.
Barbed.
Damn, I got dyslexia.
The Bearded Wire.
Damn. This is real time, folks. We're figuring this all out together. I should be on Kill Tony tomorrow. I can't read good.
Thank you, black man. Yeah, black man can't read. What a shock. Oh, what? Oh, red band. Red band.
Move it. Do it. Glass.
All right, so this is posted on the Barbed Wire. Austin's plotting a comedy rebellion. Welcome to the anti-Kill Tony show. Veteran local comic Duncan Carson wants to prove you can be funny without being a jerk or racist. Dun, dun, dun. For a few years now, the Austin comedy scene has been dominated by a new ecosystem led by Joe Rogan and Tony Hinchcliffe. The city is now nationally known as a haven for their style of say whatever shitty thing you want. It doesn't even need a punchline comedy. For these guys and their disciples who moved here during the pandemic, the slur is the funny part. But that doesn't mean, is this like a gay website? I just... Oh shit. The city is now nationally known for but that doesn't mean that the old guard, the people who were doing stand-up before 2020, has gone away. And veteran Austin comic Duncan Carson wants to strike back with a new comedy show that's committed to punching up, not just saying crappy things for laughs. They just think, okay, this is in quotes. They just think anybody that laughs is an inherent good. They just think anybody that laughs is an inherent good, he told the Barbed Wire. And I'm like, no, not if it's clan rally. Not if it's a clan rally. Oh my God.
Black man can't read. Women do the glass.
Yo, I didn't turn the monitors much this week. Shut up.
Okay.
I'm still doing a pretty good job. Are you serious?
It's a little bit on the angle.
Okay, let me
can't
move.
read words.
Let me move. Let me move and read it now. Watch this, you piece of garbage. Black men shouldn't tear each other down like this. It's black on black crime. I like to see you read, Mr. Dyslexia.
I can read pretty good, actually. I practice though.
I'm a. You know what?
I
know. I knew it. You're a garbage man. I deserve all these things though. Okay. In a defense of Austin's comedy heritage, Carson is launching a new late night show that aims to showcase the city's old school comedy scene, which produced such luminaries as current Saturday Night Live cast member Andrew Dismukes and Devin Walker. If these are who I think they are, you should not be proud of that.
Who are these niggas?
Who are these niggas? Comedy bums. Anyways. The variety show is called Signing Off, a comedy show for the end of the world, and it'll run Fridays at 10 p.m. starting April 4th at the Fallout Theater in Austin. Ooh, they got a theater space. Good for these guys. Hey, more comedy is good regardless. You know what I mean? This is like WWE now. This is like WWE versus WCW. You don't get this reference. Carson is uniquely qualified to run it, having hosted weekly shows in Austin since 2012, including the popular Sure Thing showcase with Brendan K. O'Grady. I think if you counted, I've hosted the most comedy shows in the history of this city. Way to pat yourself on the back there, weirdo. Carson said, and I mean, to be fair, Tony's also doing the same thing. So this is like anti-Tony. Great. That's what we need.
Well, he said it's an anti-Kill Tony.
But he's just going to be Tony for anti-Kill Tony? Like, he's going to now say,
don't know what the format.
Nobody's ever done more than me in this city. It also just, I don't know, this reeks of pretentious bullshit. But, whatever. I'm not in the scene. I think if you've, let me read it like this. I think if you've counted, I've hosted the most comedy shows in the history of the city, Carson said. And maybe that means I never got famous, but it also means I never sold my soul. I hate when they when you start mishmashing these sentiments together, because I feel successful.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I don't know. Is he saying because he doesn't have the level of Kill Tony success, he hasn't sold? like I don't know. I don't really whatever. Let him feel how he feels about that one. Carson, who moved to Austin in 2011 from Milwaukee, reminisces about the time when the local comedy community was a golden era of smart stand-up. He likened it to an eternal summer camp, a tight-knit group of performers who maintained reasonably high artistic standards. Venues like Cap City and the Velveeta Room played critical roles in I heard about the Velveeta Room. I heard really good things about developing local talent, creating an environment where smart comedy thrived. What are we gatekeeping here exactly? You know what I mean?
Well, I think what he's gatekeeping is like it says the reasonably high artistic standards. That's what they're gatekeeping.
You know, I respect that. I can't say what I say about people like Josh Johnson and then not agree with that sentiment, you know?
Mhm.
Because I think that's like low hanging fruit, whatever the hell he's doing. But at the same time, I don't know about just being like not letting comics perform here if they're Kill Tony guys or something. Like that doesn't make sense to me either.
I didn't get that from this.
Yeah, I would imagine. I would imagine also a lot of the Kill Tony people won't even ever show up to this.
It depends because there are some people that might try and get on Kill Tony that they're actually good comedians and they might be smart comedians or whatever.
Yeah, but what is that to say? I don't think there's all dumb comedians on Kill Tony. I think that's a generalized statement, or sentiment towards Kill Tony. As dumb as Kill Tony leans towards, I've seen a lot of really great comedy on Kill Tony.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like I don't think they're gatekeeping exactly. I think Tony really loves wrestling and emulates Vince McMahon and WrestleMania in comedy form. If you look at how Kill Tony is formatted, it's very much, you could see the formula. You know what I mean? He has his regular cast. He has like his megastars, his Hulk Hogan's, his John Cena's, his da-da-da-da. You know what I mean?
Okay.
He has like his top guys in each division, in each class. He has his top black guy. He has his top, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like everything else in between is a shit show, but it's not like he doesn't say stay away. It's not like he's saying stay away if you're quote unquote a good comedian. He's just attracting pure sideshow stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's all he's doing. He's just attracting people that it's getting bigger and bigger. So obviously it's going to appeal to more just mainstream casual comics. You see more and more people who are like, this is my first set, or I've been doing it for 6 times.
Yeah.
But that's not a representation to me. I don't look at that and be like, all of Austin comedy is that. I look at that and be like, the Kill Tony scene is bonkers.
Yeah.
And they're attracting a lot of autism.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't necessarily think now, Kill Tony is only that, although obviously it's a circus. But you get everything at the circus. You don't just get clowns. You get like the friggin' mimes and like you get like the serious artists too, just as much as, you know what I mean? The trapeze artists and the friggin', you get everything. Whereas, you know, that sounds like a walled garden thing. Like what they're trying to build. It sounds to me like a walled garden, but at the same time, that's not my scene.
The way I'm perceiving it, it's not, I don't see it as a walled garden. I'm perceiving it as we're opening another venue.
Yeah, but then
another space.
No. Then why brand it this way? They're branding it as the anti-Kill Tony show.
Yeah, but I don't see that as walled garden.
Well, you're creating. That's an immediate image you're putting in someone's mind. They're like, okay, so everything that I know Kill Tony to be, which is absurd and nonsense, and yeah, sure, people say it's racist and all, like all those things. Mm-hmm. They're like, we're going anti, which is just like what you're gonna go all highbrow, like
I don't know,
you know, like, but what are you doing to regulate this? How are you gonna stop the people that show up on a Monday to sign up for Kill Tony to stop coming to your show and sign up? Are you gonna tell them no because you signed up for Kill Tony?
But I don't know. We don't know what their
this
format of the show
this
is.
Sounds a little
be.
like this is what I'm saying.
Like it could just be a book show, right? And if it's a book show, you're gonna be in the scene. You're gonna see who's.
Then that to me is not the anti. I don't know. When you're saying anti-Kill Tony, that to me says you're running that show, but
a Kill Tony format
with standards, quote unquote. Let's say
Well, maybe they'll see what kind of format
You
it
know?
is because we still don't know what the format is.
Okay, Carson, who moved to Austin from Milwaukee, reminisces about a time when the local comedy community was a golden era of smart stand-up. He likened it to an eternal summer camp, a tight-knit group of performers who maintained reasonably high artistic standards, venues like Cap City, da-da-da-da. And while the scene wasn't perfect by any means, its informal gatekeepers, club bookers, experienced comics, and discerning audiences would usually marginalize comedians who relied on cheap, dumb jokes. Tell a bunch of racist jokes. Oops, look like you're last on the list. Again, hacks eventually got the message. We all self-policed it to a degree, Carson said. Yo, that sounds like some walled garden shit. Like, I don't know. I think funny is funny. Now, obviously, there's a line.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't have to friggin', if you're producing a show, you are well within your right to friggin' be like, okay, we don't want this type of energy at our show. Like what I don't know how big the scene was. This sounds like it was a self-regulating, healthy scene. It kind of, it's weird, bro, because I'm not there, so I can't interject like I'm actually part of the scene. I don't know exactly how this is all playing out, how it did play out. Yeah, usually bad comics, like it makes sense what they're saying. Bad comics will eventually just, it's not even get the message. It's just you don't get booked. You know, like, or that's even hard to say because a lot of bad comics get booked. It's just like friend groups and all this stuff. That's when you go and just create your own show. You know, like the bad comics will go off and group on into their own little thing and then just create their own bad ecosystem. Although as a longtime Austin comic myself, I'd add that there were still plenty of offensive jokes flying around back in the day, but they were generally told by someone with an IQ higher than room temperature water. Sadly, the pandemic and the arrival of Rogan and his resulting constellation of clubs and shows greatly changed this landscape. Carson argues that the new wave of comics has created an ecosystem that rewards offensive material, giving previously unsustainable comedic approaches a platform and financial incentive. It's like Fox News set up camp down the street, Carson said, where comics once had to be clever and thoughtful to succeed. Now shock value and controversy can be monetized. And he's right. What's more, while the Rogan sphere is popular, they're not actually very good at being funny. Rogan's last special on Netflix tanked, with one critic calling it a tired and unfunny tirade. Tony Hinchcliffe bombed with racist jokes at the Republican convention, which should be easier than spotting a lifted truck at a Buc-ee's. Hey, shout out to Buc-ee's. Hey. Hinchcliffe's first Netflix special was so bad that he removed it from the internet. But that didn't stop the streaming service from getting in bed with him again. So what are you left with? A bunch of middle-aged dudes spouting worn-out cliches at an audience who drove in from the suburbs to lap it up. That's what Austin comedy is known for these days. Carson wants to remind the audiences that comedy can be more, and it can be funny. I don't want comedy that's like preachy or always has to support social progress or something, he said. Just don't be a monster. Like, it's so obvious. It's very easy to be funny without being mean, Carson said. Comedy is inherently political, and I'm tired of us acting like it's not. By integrating, by integrating music, a podcast recording, as well as stand-up, Carson hopes to remind audiences of Austin's comedic roots, which stretch back decades, not just a few years. The show's head writer, Okay, that's enough of this. You know, the more I read it, I get it. And it's it's a natural byproduct. You know, I'm even hearing myself speak. I agree with more than I disagree with. It's just some of the things he said lead me to believe that there's some ego at play here. And at the same time, like, I don't know. Like, Rogan's audience is Rogan's audience. and they've brought so much audience that there's actually spillover.
Yes.
So I think concentrating on some of that spillover, all the new comedy, all the new eyes on comedy in Austin. Yeah, give them something different.
Yeah.
And then let the people decide. But it's also a weird approach. Like, is he just trying to get clout for the show by being like, this is anti-Kill Tony? Could he not just could he not have promoted it without doing all this? I wonder. Like, is he just trying to gain recognition? Like, he had an article written and all this stuff?
Well, yeah, because here's the thing, right? Because we never heard of this guy till the article.
Correct. And I'm assuming some people will find out about the show because of this.
Yeah.
So again, only some of the things he said, the way he said it, it was in quotes too. So I'm like, is he speaking from like a place of true like righteousness and wanting to right some wrongs, or is he just seeing an opening and trying to take advantage? It's like, okay, well, there's a lot of people saying what he's saying, and they're not wrong. Like, I'm trying to play devil's advocate, but honestly, Kill Tony is 90% trash, bad comedy. And yeah, I couldn't make it more than 5 minutes into Joe's last special. I have seen Tony Hinchcliffe live, and I will not ever again. You know what I mean? And, you know, even the racial stuff, I kind of agree with, because if you look at the regulars that Kill Tony picks, like if you look at his cast and crew, he's very specific with who he gets to represent the group that they're in. Like Cam, you know what I mean? I love Cam, and he's absolutely hysterical and stuff. But like, did you see the episode where Cam had grills?
No.
Cam showed up and he was a panelist for an episode. It was like a couple months ago, and he had grills in, and he just literally he just showed up, and throughout the episode, he sounded and looked like a typical, stereotypical dumb street nigga with grills in, and he couldn't even, because the girls were keeping it from speaking. And then this black guy got pulled from the bucket, normal dressed black guy, normal speaking black guy, told jokes that were actually articulate.
Well, do you remember his name or no?
Don't remember.
Dang.
This was months ago. I just remember that this was so obvious that I talked about it with a homie of mine from Austin. It was so obvious. You first noticed Cam was like, visibly, he's like, oh, because the guy destroyed. His set from beginning to end was just clean, nothing lowbrow, nothing, yo, nigga, yo, like none of the stereotypical shit, which again, Cam is Cam, and like, I love Cam, you know what I mean? So, and he's like 3 to 4 years into comedy. So when he actually really starts refining that, which he's doing in real time, which is why but like, he took the grills out. You know what I mean? And he started talking like, he's like, that, because Tony was starting to big up that guy. And it almost looked like he was about to get a golden ticket.
Oh, he's about to lose a spot.
And that's what it looked like. And there was a bunch of comments of being like, Cam should have to fight for his spot the way that Hans did.
Yeah.
Then that guy shows up. And it like, that exposed to me just how much like he really does play up all the stereotypes.
Yeah. I think it'd be sick if you had to like when he was doing like Hans, you had a bad set, next week you're fighting for your spot. All the regulars should be like that.
That should be like that.
You know?
But
don't just bring another black guy to replace a black guy.
And he's definitely, even look at like Kensei. Kensei, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, did you notice, like, Kensei was hysterical, had amazing sets. But did you notice the interview and like how they were talking to him? Oh, Haro. Oh, you're a Japanese man. And it's because Kensei talks like that.
Yes.
Like that obviously fed into them loving him so much more. It's like if you lean into, I've noticed if you lean into your stereotype, Tony loves it, which lets you know exactly the type of humor and so like, you know, the anti-Kill Tony sentiment, I completely get. And let's see how it goes. Yeah. It does look, there's a lot of, not morality questions, but there's a lot of questions that you can ask. It's like, what's your true motivation here?
Yeah.
Are you actually trying to create a healthy environment, or are you just seeing an opening and being like, well, because there's so many more comedy fans here, let's I don't know. What do you think? What do you think of the whole Rogan sphere and all these guys?
In what way?
Like, are they good? Do you see? Do you understand? Do you think there is a need for something like this? You were there. We went to Austin.
Yeah,
saw
no,
it.
I think more competition is good
Of course.
in all aspects. Right? So if you're thinking, okay, the level is declining, which I felt like I noticed, like we noticed it when we were there.
Yeah.
Like the level of comedy is not the highest level. That's also because it's a bunch of newer comedians. Right? It's a bunch of newer comedians that only got into it because of Kill Tony. Right? So that's their style. That's how they came in. Right?
Yeah.
But if they really want to become a good comedian, having places where it's like, okay, well, that weak stuff's not going to fly. It's not going to fly. That's a good, I feel like.
But how many of those people that are trying to get on Kill Tony, again, are even real comics and even care enough to do that? You know?
Yeah.
I feel like most of them.
Yeah, but
I watch it week to week, bro. These guys have autism and they're not comedians.
But the ones that do, they will get better.
Yeah.
Or
yeah, no, I'm not disputing that. I'm just saying I wonder how many of this spillover of these guys that are trying to get pulled on the bucket.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this is what I'm saying. Most of them aren't comics. They're just trying to get on Kill Tony and get like notoriety and get clout.
Yeah. Okay.
And Tony knows this, obviously.
There's that, but I also see like.
But for the ones that do, obviously, like us, we showed up to Kill Tony.
Yeah.
And I'm sure we would have tried to get on the other show too, because we're actually comics.
Yeah. But okay, so I would have put myself in that category of I was doing it under 3 years and I still signed up for Kill Tony. And I'm not that strong of a comedian yet. I would put myself in that category.
Yeah.
But I'm not.
But you're actually taking comedy seriously.
The point I was going to make is my comedy doesn't stem from the Kill Tony stuff. I was interested in comedy way before all that.
Correct.
Right? Like I was watching other people and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So my comedy is not going to be limited to what you kind of see on Kill Tony or what influences you, because those are my influences.
Yeah, true.
So I feel like, you know, I just think them having another room, more competition, the people that want to do good, they'll go there and try and get better. And I think it's overall positive for the scene.
Again, it's also important for people that are established to speak out, because this is like an open air secret now. It's like everybody knows Kill Tony's kind of like, even Tony's acknowledging it more and more. You see, you haven't been watching as much, but Tony's acknowledging it on mic, how people are saying they're ruining comedy. Like, he'll throw jabs at people here and there.
Oh, okay.
He threw the jabs at Jeselnik, which we should actually pull up that Jeselnik quote.
We're at 50 minutes.
Yeah, I know. We're not doing UFC. Sorry, buddy.
What?
Yeah, we're not.
But your boy's fighting.
It's okay. It's too late anyways. We were supposed to do it last week.
But I just want to at least see the card, because I haven't looked at it this whole time.
Oh, man.
Anyways, Jeselnik said what?
Jeselnik says what we all think about Hinchcliffe. When I meet him again in late October, he is gleeful at the prospect that the Madison Square Garden Trump rally, where Tony Hinchcliffe joked about Puerto Rico being a floating island of garbage, might be the end of Hinchcliffe's career. He thought the Brady roast was his big moment, even though I think those jokes were hack as hell. When I ask him later how he's thinking about comedy after Trump's election win, he says that his job is the same whether it's raining or shining. Everything is an opportunity. His opinion of Hinchcliffe remains unchanged. He is a troll, basking in the shadow of Joe Rogan. He has no patience for displays of vulnerability or intimate disclosure either. The Edinburgh-style one-person show that reveals a traumatic backstory. There's no comedian who tells me what their life is like where I give even the slightest semblance of a I do not care. You're wasting time. I get that there are people who are interested in this, but it's not what I wanted to do. I have an hour up there. I want to pack that hour in with pure ingenuity and brilliance, he says. So that was Jeselnik on Hinchcliffe and essentially the crew. It's hard to dispute that. And like this is where I, especially as of late, like these last few weeks, you really see me pushing back again on like this whole clout era of comedy and people not really being comics and just wanting to get fame and notoriety and stuff. Like to me, that is Hinchcliffe and crew. They're not the most talented, but they're the most known, and that's how this game works. It's people that are willing to play the game. The game isn't promoting talent; it's promoting who wants to play the game. And there's way more people that have way less talent that want to play the game, whereas I think the people that care about the craft don't care about the game. They care about the craft.
Yeah.
Jeselnik being one of them. But he's a guy that also made it through just the craft. It's harder now than when Jeselnik was coming up because social media. Now the game is actually like 30 games. The game before was just like a Hollywood trajectory. If you really wanted to be known, even you could just be a comic, but you had to go through certain channels. Now it's like, just put yourself out there. And because we're competing with people that are willing to put themselves out there 24/7 doing buffoonery shit, guess what that does? Devalues everything. Now you're literally competing with buffoons that will be there 24/7, devaluing the art that you care about and are not willing to be out there like a buffoon every 5 minutes. But then the perception then becomes you're not out there as much, or you're not as good, or you're not like people really perceive Joe Rogan's on Netflix, Joe Rogan's on Spotify, which means he's the elite, he's the best. Which I think everybody will make the argument that Joe Rogan podcast is nowhere near what it was before it blew up. What a shock that this typically is the cycle of things. The thing is organic and sees organic growth and builds an organic following with people that really are attracted to the authenticity of the thing. Then the thing is injected with money and sponsorships and ads, and all of a sudden continues to balloon until it's a mainstream thing. And once you're mainstream, it's very hard to maintain the authenticity. There's very few people I've seen throughout my lifetime do it. And the ones that do it are the ones that don't do interviews every 5 seconds. Do you see Chappelle every 5 fucking minutes anywhere? He doesn't post on Instagram, on socials. Forget about even comedians. George Clooney as an actor. This guy's still considered like the peak of actors. You never hear about this guy. No interviews, no nothing. Disappears. Shows up, does gangbuster movies if you're a fan of his, that people seem to like them. You know what I mean? And then just bounces. Like to me, that's art. For me in rap, Nipsey Hussle. This nigga was in the shadows, showed up, delivered immaculate work, and he didn't feel the need to do all the buffoonery shit. You know what I mean? Like, there's examples of it. There was another post that kind of feeds into this. This was on r/stand-up also, posted by Usual Welcome 5662. Does anyone else also think that Joe Rogan and his friends are really bad at stand-up comedy? Let me elaborate. So my new job keeps me on the road for long periods of time, and among other things, I tune into are the comedy channels on SiriusXM. Recently, I've tried Joe Rogan and Friends, Ari Shaffir, Tom Segura, Bert Kreischer, Tony Hinchcliffe, Joey Diaz, Brendan Schaub, Brian Callahan. Like
Brian Callahan. Why do you say it like
Brian Callen? Yeah, I don't know why.
There's a little zest spilled out.
And
Brian Callahan.
Brian Callahan. And those guys are unfunny. Last night, they have a whole Shaffir presentation, and I don't recall laughing at any of his jokes. Granted, Sirius doesn't have whole gigs, but just extracts. I guess Cat Williams was also right about this when he went on Shannon's podcast. Most people don't find Joe Rogan funny. Most people know him and enjoy him on the podcast.
I'll say this. I'm not going to say they're really bad at stand-up, because I've seen really bad stand-up. They're not the greatest.
Yeah.
But they're not really bad.
Yeah, that will come more down to preference and stuff. I won't give them zeros.
Yeah.
But I would never pay to go see them live. Any of these guys. Yeah, let's see. Ari, definitely not. Tom, definitely not. Bert, definitely not. Tony, definitely not. Joey Diaz, I would see Joey, but not like I wouldn't pay more than like $50 to see Joey. Brendan Schaub, I would kill myself. Brian Callen, I would kill Brendan Schaub. Oh, I'll kill you, bro. Who you think you are, bro? Yo, fuck. Brendan Schaub, if he sees this clip. Look at that scrawny pipsqueak. I'll pop his head off. Yo, bro, get off the testosterone, dog. It's okay. It's not that serious. Brendan Schaub. Ugh. Yeah, none of those guys, but like, I don't know. Again, to me, most of the mainstream people aren't funny.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
I'll also say this too.
yeah.
I don't know if it's devil's advocate, but I've never seen these guys aside from Hinchcliffe, but like we never live in a club, not an arena, and like, you know, no
Yeah, Tony's the
cameras,
only
no
guy.
nothing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Tony's the only guy we saw.
Yeah. But I was still at the mothership. But I mean, like,
And it was awful.
yeah, and there was a bunch of excuses.
It
But
was not the dude. How crazy was that? Let's talk about it, bro. Tony comes out to the friggin' Imperial March, the Darth Vader theme, some dubstep version
I
of Darth Vader's
forgot
theme.
that we even saw him till you just brought it up
Yeah,
today.
that's how
I
memorable
still
it
remember
was.
seeing Holtzman because
Of
that
course.
was hilarious.
That was an experience. I felt like a ride at Disneyland.
That was so
Tony
fun.
Hinchcliffe felt
my
like
stomach
standing
was
in line
hurting.
for your money back. Like he comes out and he does his little thing he does on Kill Tony where he just points at the audience like he's God.
In slow motion.
And then literally he did crowd work for the first 15, 20 minutes. Then he spent the next 5 minutes telling people who weren't laughing. He's like, this is a Thursday show, folks. You're not getting my weekend material. Sorry. And then he just kept doing crowd work tepidly. And then he did like one or two jokes and they absolutely went nowhere. And there's no setup structure. There's no structure. There's ego. Is Tony ego.
Yeah.
And I know I'll never get on Kill Tony now, but like it is what it is. I don't think. And if I do, it'll be fun to have this conversation.
Well, you can also get on the anti-Kill Tony show.
Going back to Austin, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, that's gonna wrap this shit up.
Can we just quickly take? No, we're not. I'm not gonna. I
We're
just want
not
to see
gonna
the
do
card.
the preview, but you know what? We said we would look at it, so please. What time are we at? 57.
57. 2 minutes. We'll just go through
All
it.
right, we're gonna quickly skim through UFC 314. It's time for UFC 314. Volkanovski versus Lopez. I am so excited for this fight.
Whoa! No breaking it down.
Fair enough.
Come on. No,
I'm
you're not allowed
so
to be
for this
excited.
fight. We'll do the main and the co-main, but let's just quickly skim through this. Anything on the early prelims that excites you?
This excites me. Sean
This is
Woodson
prelims,
versus
though.
Dan
Anything on early
Ige.
prelims?
I'm getting there.
Start there so we can work our way up. What's up, cutie pie? Who's Haley Cowan?
I don't know them.
I'm gonna have to look into her a little more.
No, nothing really.
Okay.
Like these are good fights, but Yan Xiaonan versus Werner Genjiroba should be a good one. Jim Miller, Chase Hooper, but Dan Ige, Sean Woodson, that should be a banger.
Okay.
I'm not breaking it down. Nikita Krylov versus Dominic Reyes, banger.
Oh, Reyes. Oh, damn. That's gonna be.
Yair Rodriguez, Patricio Pitbull, banger. Patricio Pitbull is Bellator champion. Since they crumbled, he's over here now.
They brought him over. What do you think for this fight? All the way or?
Banger alert.
Yeah.
Not breaking it down. We're just going through it.
Oh, we got
Bryce-
Bible Thumper. Hey there, Brass.
Bryce Mitchell versus John Silva.
You know, John
Banger.
Silva's a good guy. I'd go fishing with him.
Banger. Michael Chandler, Patty Pimblett.
Not excited for it.
I'm
Let's
more-
be honest, though. Chandler should win this. Yes, should on paper.
I don't know.
What? I feel like he's more
one sh-
well-rounded.
No one should win unless you're Khabib and like Islam, like maybe John Jones.
You biased bastard. I feel like Michael Chandler's way more well-rounded. No, that is a stand-up guy. He's got ground game. I guess. No, he does. Yeah, because
He has ground game.
because he submitted the what's his face like
King
he pulled
Green?
like 3 submissions off in one go.
Yeah, he got the triangle armbar.
Yeah.
But we're not breaking down fights.
You're my favorite, bro. I love you, dog.
And finally, we have Alexander Volkanovski versus Diego Lopez.
Okay, this one we will talk about for a second. You're not gonna stop me. You're not gonna stop me. You're not gonna stop me.
Wow.
You're not
The
gonna stop
bias
me.
on this guy. I can't break down no fights. But because of your boy,
What do you
Diego
mean?
Lopez, the glaze is
What?
unreal.
First of all, I tried with the other ones, and you just kept saying no.
because you said we couldn't.
Well, we have to do the main event.
Oh my. No, I'm joking. Let's go.
That- Yo, I love Diego. I want him to win. I think Volk is gonna win.
You think so?
I think so.
It's hard. Because here's what I'll say.
I want Diego to win so bad. I'll cry if he wins, bro.
The seal has been broken on Volkanovski. Once you get knocked out, it's easier to get knocked out the next time, and the next time, and the next time.
Yeah.
And Diego cracks very hard.
Fighting nerds.
He's actually not part of the fighting nerds.
What?
Yeah.
That
He
doesn't
trains
make
out of
sense.
Mexico.
Oh, that's right. Oh, and he brought his camp. He joined
he
camps
joined- yeah,
with another gym, right?
Alexa Grosso.
That's it.
Yeah.
And he trained Grasso from like ground up, yeah?
No. Not ground up. She was
Well, like
she'd
for
been
her
trained.
UFC career. Like he said he was with her from fight one.
He's
I'm
been
pretty
there
sure.
for a while. Yeah. I don't know about ground up though.
Okay, fair enough. I want Diego Lopez to win, but it's how do you go against Volk in a title fight? I know he lost, but he lost to Iliad.
He lost to Ilya after taking a head kick from Islam.
And it wasn't that far apart, yeah?
No, it wasn't.
And he's had a full, like he's recovered.
Yeah, I mean,
He's
maybe
had time to recover at
his
least,
body might have recovered.
but has his mind.
His spirit.
And where's his speed at? Diego's a young gun.
Yeah, Volk is old man Volk now.
Oh, by the way, what we didn't talk about for Chandler and Pimblett, look at the ranking difference. So like,
The odds or the rank?
no, the ranking. Like this is a huge get for Patty if he can win, no?
I've seen bigger.
That would bump him up huge though, from 12. It wouldn't take him to 7, but it would take him like,
No, it might take him to 7.
really?
Yeah.
Would it then
I don't
drop?
think
So
that's
would it
big
drop
of a-
Chandler to 12?
Look, John Silva's not even ranked. And he's fighting 13. Why isn't he fighting a 15 ranked, 14 ranked guy?
Fair enough. They
Yeah.
probably see it as a better matchup.
Well, because there's some animosity.
It sells a fight.
Yes.
Oh yeah, that's right. He's been talking trash on Bryce. Okay, yeah. So let's wrap it though.
Look.
What?
Patricio's not even ranked. He's fighting number 5.
Damn. But he's also Bellator champ.
Yeah.
He's coming
and
in as
Chandler
a
was
champ.
never even Bellator champ. He came in and fought Dan Hooker then for the title. Come on, bruh.
Come on, bruh.
But we're not breaking down fights. That's been
We're
the
not breaking
episode.
down. All right, we'll wrap it up here. Final thoughts. Alexander Volkanovski, Diego Lopez. Who's coming out champ?
Volk.
Damn. I know.
I know.
No. I know. It's really hard to, man. It's hard, man.
Look,
It's
if
hard to go against Volk
If
in a-
Diego wins, that's a great win.
That's a huge win. I'm celebrating. I'm running in the streets with the Mexicans and the Brazilians.
Yes, that's a great win. But I just think Volk still got that dog.
Yeah, I don't
He
think
got
he's
that-
done. He doesn't
he's
seem
got
done.
He just got crunched twice in a row. But he's got that dog, and he's very technical. People, if Brian Ortega gets you in a mounted guillotine and you somehow survive, you got that dog.
Ladies and gentlemen, enjoy the fights. I hope you've enjoyed this episode of the podcast. We will leave you with our final words here. Dante, do you have any final words for the people?
Nope.
All right. Be yourself, fuck me.
So I was gonna say, but I
I
can't.
knew it. I
can't
knew it.
Keep spamming.
I knew it. Where can people find you online?
You can find me online at Shadante, CHEZDANTE. Follow your boy.
Hey, and I'm AKA Black Zeus on all the socials, but right here is the place to be. Once again, if you haven't already, go check out the latest episode of Black Zeus the Show. We take you along on the ride for a couple of shows, one at Yuck Yucks with an interview with the president, owner, founder of Yuck Yucks, Mark Breslin. Go check that out. Go check out other episodes of the show. Go check out our other content. If you're a fan of comedy, this is the place to be. Black Zeus the channel, ladies and gentlemen, run by comedians for real comedy fans. That's you. You are the beautiful people of this podcast and this channel. We will be back for you next week. This has been Black Zeus the Podcast, Season 6, Episode 13. Till next week. Peace.
Hey, it's Hen Dog.
Black Zeus the Podcast Season 6, featuring Black Zeus and Dante, aka Black Zeus on YouTube.